Hello, this is Gabriel from Punk Globe Magazine, a Ginger Coyote publication, and today's guest is the fabulous Pat Todd from Pat Todd and the Rank Outsiders. How are you, Pat?
I'm all right, Gabriel. How are you?
I'm good today. I'm really good, and I'm really excited to sit here and talk to you, pick your brain about what's going on with Pat Todd. First of all, who is Pat Todd?
Geez. Well, I was born in Vincennes, Indiana.
Vincent?
Vincennes.
Vincennes. How do you spell that?
Vincennes.
Wow, okay.
And it's a sister city of a French city by the same name.
Okay.
It's a small town in southern Indiana, right on the border of Illinois, literally on the Wabash River from the Wabash Cannonball, the country song. And, it's 1,000 feet to Illinois across the river, so I'm right on the western border. It's southern Indiana. It's probably 2 hours from Kentucky. City of really a small town.
So it's like white t-shirts, blue jeans, with penny loafers, right?
Yeah, back then it was. Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe now it's more like hunting hats and pickup
guns.
Yeah, and guns, things like that. Yeah.
Oh wow!
But not all, but there's a lot of that. It's a small town, 20,000 people. It's a town, it's not a farming community. There are farming communities around the outside of it, so it's a good place to grow up.
Yeah.
Once I hit puberty and started finding out about all the other things in the world that I was interested in, then I wanted to go explore those and leave and get out into the bigger world. Everyone's different. I was always called by the bigger world, and still am.
Were you listening to music back then?
I listened to, my mom is probably the one who got me into music, indirectly, but she did. She always had the radio on, and she played records by Frank Sinatra, Louis Armstrong, Diana Washington.
Classics.
Nat King Cole. I happen to like all those. I might admit, still to this day, I like all those bands.
Yes, of course.
And also, you would hear, all the things that were popular. The youth culture was just starting to bloom. So you would hear the Beatles and the Stones, and I'd heard Elvis before that. And you would hear back in those days in our town. You wouldn't hear much, but you would hear. I heard of a couple of Chuck Berry biggest hits,
yeah,
and a couple of Little Richard and Jerry Lewis. Not a ton, because it was just not that kind of a town. But you would hear some of that. Country music was around, so you just kind of got a little bit of that.
Who were the big country people? Because I imagine it was a country town, no?
And not exactly, but there was some of that in the town. I don't know if you're familiar with the singer Bobby Bare.
I know Bobby Bare. Yes.
Well, he had a song called Vincennes, Indiana.
Okay, wow.
And I guess that he had played in our town and stayed above a bar that's still there. And I heard this secondhand, of course, now.
What was the bar's name?
I think it was the Riverfront Saloon.
Nice.
And he lived above that for the week while he was here performing. And I guess that he was inspired to write a song, Vincennes, Indiana. It was a big hit, I guess. I remember hearing it. I think it was a top 10 nationwide hit. And
I'm going to ask you for one favor. Can you hand me that phone there?
Yes.
For lack of a better word.
Yes.
Didn't want to say that, but
there you go.
It's part of
it is the modern
it's
world.
It's part
folks.
of what I need to ask you. So finish what you were saying. So part of them are.
Well, it was just it was kind of before the time too, where music was quite so, we'll call it segregated, and you heard a little bit of everything. Like I remember when the Beatles and the Stones and the Yardbirds and all those people were in the Animals were on the radio, and Bob Dylan. So were Percy Faith, in the top 40.
Yeah.
And so would Frank Sinatra, and you'd hear Paul Marriott, Love Is Blue, and then you'd hear, Jumpin' Jack Flash or something. So you kind of heard a little bit of everything. And it was before everything got so segregated. That started happening towards the end of the 60s,
right.
Where things split apart. And I lived on a small street called Ritter Scamp, and 2 blocks over was Rainbow Beach. where everybody went swimming, and they had when I was a kid, they would have teen bands, like 60 style teen bands, playing over the concession stand.
Anybody well known?
No.
No, okay.
But you could, as little kids, we could go over to the alleyway, the fence, and look through and see them, 200 feet from us, and maybe, young people playing there, and their people would be there. So that was also exciting. And Rainbow Beach would play the rock and roll top 40 station over our neighborhood all during the day. So I was just inundated with music, and from when I was a little kid, music spoke to me. It always seemed, even something I couldn't understand, it seemed full of like mystery and the road and the Wayward Wind, that song. I mean, all these songs, they spoke of this big world, this mystery of living and the mystery of life. And I always thought that music really had that, and I was really compelled by music. I was always the kid who liked books, movies, music.
Record collector?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Still am too.
Yeah, okay.
Still go to the record store almost every week.
Nice.
Buy magazines and books still.
Nice. When did you pick up, what was your first instrument? Or is it the only instrument? Guitar?
It's the only instrument, and
Okay.
that's even debatable how good I am at that. But yeah, guitar. I think I was always the kind of person though that I wasn't driven to be a guitar player like all the people we know,
Right.
who are driven to play the guitar and learn all the things. I was more interested in, and I didn't know this at the time, I just liked songs, and I liked lyrics, and I liked the idea and the mood of things, and what I was getting from it, what they were telling me. So
Right.
that was always more why I loved music. So I never really applied myself to being a guitar player, and still don't. I can play guitar, I can make up riffs and ideas, but I am nowhere near the good enough player to be the.
Are you self-taught, or did you go?
I'm self-taught. I took some lessons for about a year, maybe 6 months. And at that time, I knew how to read music, because that's how they taught you all the things you didn't really want to know. Mary Had a Little Lamb, and
Right.
I know they're good instructions, but at the time I had no interest in them. So I quickly got out of that. And then you just watch people, or you watch people on TV, or you listen to records, and you try to pick up a few things. But again, I'll admit, I was never driven as a guitar player.
It sounds like a wholesome upbringing.
It probably was,
Yeah.
but of course, our wholesomeness is hiding, the prejudice of the world underneath of it. I didn't know any better. It was later on when I reached puberty and around 12, 13, 14 that I realized that for example, in our small town, all the blacks lived in one area. And I did, when you're not getting out and around, you don't really think about that.
Right.
And I was around, I got lucky enough to see the counterculture, which doesn't even exist anymore. Now it's all corporate.
Right.
Even people of the left are pretty corporate. But that was a good thing for me to learn about, and see. Just brought other ways to think and see things to your mind.
What age were you when you wrote your first song?
Jeez, I started screwing around trying to write songs. I'm going to say 13, 14. I don't have a record of that, but I'm going to guess around that time.
Nice.
And they were terrible, but it was like something, I wanted to say something, I had no idea what.
Do you still remember your first song?
Yes, I think I do. I think it was called Blues from Coconut Grove. And
Wow.
it wasn't a blues song. I think I had heard Coconut Grove on TV, the idea of that, TV shows or something. And that
Right.
gave me the idea to try something. And, I was the only child, so I never lacked for imagination, because you have to kind of fill your own time.
Wow. Did your parents encourage you?
Yeah, I mean, my mom and dad bought me a guitar.
Nice.
They bought me
Okay.
that Silvertone guitar, amp in a case.
Wow.
They bought it from Mark Phillips, a guy who was about 2 or 3 years older than me, who lived over a couple of blocks away. So that's how I got my first guitar. And so I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's the black sparkle
Yeah.
Silvertone that comes in
Definitely.
an amp in the case. You
Uh-huh.
open it, set it up, and you've got an amp. that was my first guitar. And yeah, they bought me guitars and amps through my teenage years.
Mm-hmm. Was did Sears own Silvertone?
No, but Dan Electro made guitars for Sears.
For Sears, yeah.
And maybe for someone else, I'm not sure. Your guitar people out there will know the answer to that.
Right. Wow, so let's move ahead. Pat Todd and the Rank Outsiders. When did that come into
Well, I was in a band called the Lazy Cowgirls from 1982 to 2004. Ended about the end of 2004 with a Japanese and American tour. And when that was over, you know, I had replaced many a member, and over the years, as you will usually. And at that moment, I lost somebody, and someone else was coming. You know how people are in bands. And I thought, you know what? It's always been my ideas and my ass on the line. I should put my name on the band. And I had liked the name of the Rank Outsiders because I thought about even switching that in the back of my mind.
Where did that come from, the Rank Outsiders?
Oh, well, the Rank Outsiders is well, first of all, it's a underdog, and it was an old time term from the 40s and 50s and probably before. It meant like an underdog or someone who was not counted on,
Right.
Who was came from the outside. Nobody expected them to win the race or win the fight or whatever it was. So I thought that, boy, if that isn't a word for me, I don't know what is.
That's great.
And it also was in the. It was always I always liked it in the Rolling Stones. Some tumbling dice says, "I'm a rank outsider." It's an old time saying I always heard before, but I thought, that's a great band name. Hence the band name. And I thought, well, I'll put my name in front of it, Pat Todd and the Rank Outsiders.
Oh, that's great.
That's pretty much, I'm going to do this, that's going to be my band until I'm dead. That's going to be my thing.
Now, you got Nick on guitar, and who's your other guitar player?
Well, we got Nick Alexander on guitar
Nick
and
Alex-
vocals, and we got Kevin Keller on guitar and
Kevin,
vocals.
yes, Kevin Keller.
And then we got Stephen Vai on bass and vocals.
Good man.
And then Walter Phelan's the drummer. So
Yeah.
I have a stellar band.
You do have a stellar band, and I was surprised. I just caught your show this past Friday night, and I was really surprised that Walter's from he lives in
Well, he lives in Portland, right?
Portland.
Portland area, right
Uh-huh.
outside of it. Yeah, he has family there, so they moved up there.
Right.
But he comes back here basically every month, and we get a lot done. And he was here until lately.
Wow.
So, and we got a lot done in the last 2.5 years. We probably recorded 60 to 70 songs, and that's not a lie, that's true.
Yes, I know you're always working. Our friend Richard Duque, I think you work with Richard sometimes?
Yes, we have, yeah.
He's always telling me, I'm working with Pat, and Pat's doing this, and sometimes you go down to, did you ever go to Pawn Shop recording?
No, I never did go
Oh,
down there.
okay.
I went down there and talked to Patrick. We ended up doing somewhere else. No slight to Patrick at all. It just worked out that we went somewhere else.
Right.
We worked with Gavin Ross.
Gavin Ross, okay.
Yeah, from Steady Studios in Burbank.
Okay.
And it's been, when we used to work with Earl Mankey
Yes.
on Thousand Oaks. We worked with Earl since 94,
Okay.
95 anyway. And we just finished, we went all the way through There's Pretty Things in Palookaville, which came out, what,
Love that.
2 years ago?
Yes.
3 years ago? So that was our last thing. In fact, that was Earl Mankey's last thing that he did. He's retiring and going to try to enjoy what's left of his life and do
Nice.
some traveling and all that. So we went with Gavin, and it's been super.
Wow.
It's been great.
That's great. Gavin, yeah. I've heard that name around for so long.
Yeah.
And,
He's worked with Scott Drake and a lot of other bands.
yes.
He's worked with gospel people, and he's a great guy, and we love recording at the studio. It's been a great thing for us. We went from one great thing with Earl to this, and we were very extremely lucky.
Nice. How is Pretty Things of Palookaville doing?
I think it's done all right. It got a lot of good reviews. I mean, this ghetto, this kind of rock and roll music or whatever this all is, roots, whatever music, whatever you want to call it. It's a small thing, and rock and roll, blues, country, folk, jazz, they're all getting smaller and smaller, and that's going to be what it's going to be, I think.
Right.
And, I never worried about that kind of stuff. I'm not really worried about popularity or what other people think too much. I mean, I'm more interested in doing what I want to do and the best I can do it, and I think it's a great life.
I remember when I first saw you was in a club down in oh, what was it? It was in a strip mall, and I think it was on Van Nuys Boulevard, Reseda Boulevard. Oh, forgot the name of it. But I used to see you, and I used to just like, I always thought you were kind of unapproachable. But now that I get to know you, you are such a humble man. You were like, you know, like, wow, this guy's has such a background, and you remain with the people.
Well, I'll tell you, there's some people who would tell you I'm not humble, but thank you. I know nobody's better than anybody else. That's common sense.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't care what people. I don't mean like hell with you. I don't care. I mean, I just can't really care. I got to do what I want to do, what I think is best.
You can't really. You can't. Just...
I can't worry about what you think.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't. I got to live with me, just as you have to live with yourself. And I don't really put much stock in outward rewards. I mean, of course they're there and they tempt you at all times, but you know, I try to keep a perspective. Like, it doesn't matter how popular you are, or if you're making money at playing music. I don't know about you, and I don't know about anybody.
That's possible?
Yeah, and I don't know anybody who happens to watch this, but when I fell in love with music, not even to get girls, or anybody else for that matter, or to make money. I fell in love with music because I liked music. I liked the songs. I liked how it made me think and feel and challenged me, and where it took me, the questions it made me ask, what was everything between the lines. So I love music, and I love music the same way, if not more so, than I ever did. So I never focus on that other stuff too much. I mean, yeah, you're disappointed by things, but I also know that it's not important, you know.
That's a great attitude.
Yeah, well, I think it's true. It's the only truth there might be in
It's the
that.
only truth, yes. Amen to that.
Don't you
Amen to
also
that.
think, I'm going to ask you a question, don't you think that, and how about you people too, whoever happens to watch us, one of you or two of you, playing music or having like the art life makes your life bigger and better. You know, you're doing things, you're involved, you're talking to other people, you're even if no one else cares, you're expressing yourself, you're doing something, and you're living opposed to just being a passive person who just takes part in other people's lives. I think the art life is a fantastic life. You always meet new things, new people.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
Yeah, you know, I do agree with you on that. It's just like I'm in it for the love, but I'm not here to talk about me. But that's the question, you know, that you asked me.
Yes.
It is. If you don't do it for the love, you're gonna go bananas.
Yeah.
You're gonna fucking lose it.
Yeah. And that's to anybody watching too. I mean, whatever you like to do. This is my mantra lately. You like to go bowling? Go bowling. You like to collect stamps? Collect stamps. You like to play guitar and sing songs and play music or play the drums? Do that. If you like to garden, do that. Our Double E loves when I say this. It's a short movie, and we don't have much time, and you need to do what you love to do. And the rest of the world, you know, just go to hell. It doesn't matter. It's important. To me, it's important. I shouldn't say that it's important. To me, it's what I want to do.
Right. They say the true artist is the person who loves what he does.
Yeah, he or she. I think that's probably true. I think you can be an artist and laying brick if that's what you know.
Exactly. I have a friend of mine who's an accountant.
Yeah.
And he loves being an accountant. He loves doing he's a CPA, not an accountant. And he loves what he does.
More power to him, you know.
And you know what? And now I get that. You
Yeah.
know, he loves what he does. He's a true artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I notice when I watch you on stage, Pat, you know, you love what you do. You're in it. You're not in it for the crowd. You're not in it for the adoration. You're not in it for, like you say, the chicks. Excuse me, girls.
Yes. women
Yeah, women.
or men,
Yeah.
whatever your preference may
Whatever,
be.
yeah.
And I could care less. That's
my
all.
faux pas there.
Yeah.
Anyway, you love what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I really love about the band too? They love what's going on
They
on
do.
stage.
They
Like
do.
you said, you have a great band. And
They love what's going on in the studio. They love what's going on even when they go and it's tough on the road. Those I can't speak high enough to my guys if they're watching, if they do watch this. They give it everything they got. They believe in what they're doing. They work hard. They're self-motivated. They want to be as great as they can be at what we do, whatever it is. And they care. They have the ego about I want to be as good as I can be. So right there, how can you lose with people like that?
Right, exactly.
And they also happen to be they're all guys, so they're all really good guys. And
Yeah.
I mean, we all have our weirdnesses and things. Boy, I sure do. And but they're great, and I'm lucky to. And I think we've talked about this. All of us, we feel like we're lucky to be together. It was pure.
Right.
It just worked out that way, and we got lucky.
I want to ask you something. Like, you write all the material, right?
Yeah, almost all of it. We do a few covers, usually the kind of covers that nobody knows who the hell. What song is that?
I always know your covers.
And yeah,
I was like going, I can't believe he's doing that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do songs that I love, that are off the beaten track, because as much as I love Search and Destroy or Chinese Rocks or something like that, I don't want to do songs that are obvious.
Right.
And then Kevin has a few songs. We do a couple of Kevin songs.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, so it just worked out that way, and they were good, and it works great. It works great.
Now, let me ask you something. Like, you write the majority of them in material, and it's cool that you're open to other people bringing the material. When you go into the studio, do you say, I want this song to sound like this? Nick, you do this, blah, 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 you
No.
do that. Or does everybody just fall into place going, they know what they do?
Well, we do probably every way and any way. By that I mean, I'll elaborate on that. When we go into, I bring a song into practice, and anymore, since these guys are so good and so invested, I will bring it in and go, it goes like this, and here's how it goes, and here's my rough sketch, and I was thinking we could start with this, and I thought maybe you could do something there, and maybe you could do something here, and here's an idea, Gabriel, do this, maybe try that, but usually, those guys all, and also I say, and then, mess around yourself. See, try some things, and then we all go, hey, that's a good idea. And someone else will go, hey, what if we start the song with the chorus opposed to the verse? Or I'll say, I think we need a beginning. Has anybody got an idea? I want something different here. I was thinking something along this lines, and then someone will go, oh yeah, that's great, but what about this instead? Or as we do the song, we go through it, and we do that, and we try to fine tooth it, even though we like our songs to be spontaneous and raw, and we don't get too slick on anything.
Nice.
Because we want to move fast. So there's going to be little sacrifices here and there. But everybody is really good, and I can't stress that enough, guys, if you're watching. Everybody is great.
It is a good band, folks.
Yeah, they really have good ideas, and they'll say, and they come up with good parts, too, underneath. And also, everyone is open to the idea of me, if I've got an idea exactly, try this, or try this, or try that there. They will try that, and we'll try to work that out. If it works, great.
Nice.
If not, everyone, you know what? I hope that I'm good at this. They sure as hell are. That if you got a good idea, I don't care who thought of it. And if you had 100 ideas and I just said no, and the 99th time I said no, I'd still want you to tell me the 100th, because the 100th might be, oh, that's great. Let's do that. I just can't. I know it sounds like I'm going on and on, because I am, but it's been a great situation. It's really fun, and if everybody firing in there is great time.
It's what I wanted to hear. I just want to know, because your band is just so tight, and I know you write the majority of the songs, and it always intrigues me. And like, who's doing what? Are you at the helm? Are you the conductor, or do you let your other guys? And you just answered that. You let your guys have their way,
Yeah,
And,
I
you
mean,
know,
very it's all comes down to my call.
Mhm.
But also, they're so good at all that I'm gonna listen to what they say.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take it in heart and really give it even if I don't like it at first, I always say, let's try that, let's do that, let's do it again. Because sometimes you find out the thing that you don't think you like, that's a great idea.
Right. How long have you had the lineup?
Sorry, guys. All 5 of us, 7 years or so.
7 years, okay? Nothing, nobody was before or?
Well, Nick has been with the Rank Outsiders. He started the Rank Outsiders with me
Wow.
in 2005.
Nick!
We were actually playing.
Hey, Nick!
He was playing when we were doing some acoustic stuff with the Cowgirls at the end.
Mhm.
It was Nick was playing acoustic guitar and mandolin with us.
Wow.
So he came on board actually in the very tail end of 2004, and then we only did about 2 or 3 things live, and then with the band, our band, the Rank Outsiders, started with Nick and I in my bedroom, me teaching him all my new songs, and I showed him he could play better than me, so I just kind of chunk along and sing the words, and we'd learn the songs.
Right.
And then we started adding people. But yeah, so he's been there in the Rank Outsiders from the beginning since 2005.
How did you meet Nick?
I met Nick, well, I saw he was in a band, and band was okay, but we thought, Michael Lee and I, the guitar player for the Cowgirls, we went out looking around too and like, well, hey, there's this guy, you want to go see this guy play? I think he's really good. Maybe think about this guy. And he's a good guy. I met him. It shows he's been a fan of our band. And we watched him play. And we thought, the band's okay, but this guy's got a lot of potential.
Right.
And we know he's a good guy. And because he was playing with us acoustically. And we thought about possibly even, well, this guy's maybe too good not to bring in, and even though that didn't happen. And so when I got ready to start this new band, he's the first person I asked, and he said, yeah, I want to do that.
Wow.
So he's been there since the beginning.
That's amazing.
So I was telling him the other day, we've been going steady since 2005.
Woo! Nice. Nice.
And he just rolled his eyes, oh, what did I do?
That's hilarious. What's your favorite album of yours?
Oh, God. I'm going to be honest with you. First of all, no big deal. I don't think it's any big deal. I don't think of myself as anything special. I think they're all really great if you like what we do. And that's the truth. I'm a little partial to Palookaville, but I don't think it's any better. I just think I'm partial to it.
One thing I love about your songs is that, as opposed to a lot of the other bands that are out there, a lot of great bands out there, not to discredit any of them, but first time I saw you, I walked home singing a song of yours. I remembered your song.
Oh, well, thanks.
And I thought that's really important when I can the next day remember a song of yours.
Well, thanks.
That's like, oh, he's got that.
I'll put you on the spot. Do you remember what song it was?
I don't remember what song it was. I'll tell you what it was.
I'm just curious, that's all. You can edit that out.
Was it at the time? Da, 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 da.
It's I knew that's what it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's The World Don't Care and Neither Does She.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Now, how old is that song?
Well, that song was written, I guess, for There's Pretty Things in Palookaville. So.
But you were playing it before that.
Well, we started amassing tunes towards the next record.
Got it.
Always. Right now we're about 3 records ahead, so we're already amassing stuff for I don't even know. The new ones haven't even come out yet.
Man.
But that song was just a song you wrote, and it was amassed for that record.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
We constantly, we don't just, when we're done, we don't just stop. This Saturday, we played Friday. Saturday we practiced all day, and we did 2 brand new songs.
Nice.
That we're working at, and we're going to record again in December. We're going to try to record about 6 songs or so.
McGavin?
with Gavin.
Yes, nice.
Of course. I mean, truthfully, if there is a sixth rank outsider, it's Gavin Ross.
Wow, nice. Nice.
Yeah, he's involved.
Right.
You know, when we record, he's literally involved. And we've had him play piano on a couple songs, you know, overdub piano.
Perfect, perfect.
Good guy, good friend.
Nice, nice.
You're lucky to have good allies, you know, in your life.
What, do you have any expectations of the band? Would you like to be here? Would you like to be there? Would you like to be, I'm happy right here. I want more of this, I want more of that, I want more. What is it you want more of?
Well, that is just like your question, it's a multi-tier question. I love, you know, what we're doing, and I just want to do it as much as possible. But, and I'm wary of wanting more. You ever seen Key Largo? What do you want, Rocco? What do you mean? You want more, don't you? Yeah, that's what I want, more. And you'll never be satisfied. Well, you know, why should I? I want mine. I want to get mine.
Yeah.
I'm not really locked. I keep a check on that. I have a, if anyone knows me, they know I have an ego that's probably out of control somewhat sometimes. But I also keep perspective on that. I remember David Johansen, they asked David Johansen of the Dolls, how popular did you want to be? He goes, I thought if we could be as popular as the Velvet Underground, who were not that popular. People in New York didn't even know who they were.
Right.
He said that would have been, to me, great. So anything we can get, I'll take. I just never want to lose sight of it. You know, the reward is in doing it, and in the people you play with, and doing shows. And yes, you want 1,000 people watching you, and you want to have. You'd love to make $1 million, but I don't expect any of that, and I never aim for that. I just aim to do what I believed in and do the best I could at it, and as much as I can at it while I'm still alive.
Are you ever discouraged?
Oh yeah, who isn't? But only for maybe an hour.
Yeah.
And then even, luckily I might sometimes be discouraged for 5 minutes, and then I've got that thing, and this is, I'm gonna make myself vulnerable here and you can hate me. I've got that thing, well, I'll show 'em. And that may be the sin of pride or something. But I'm gonna do it. And I always thought that everyone talks about what they're gonna do. And, you know, it's hard to do something, to get up and go to practice or.
Right.
Right. To me, that was always like, I'm just gonna do it. And I'm not gonna worry about the, you know, the chips fall where they may. I mean, I have no control over the world. I have no control of anybody watching this or anywhere else out in the world. I can't right all wrongs. I can't stop murder and prejudice. I can't redistribute the wealth. I can't do anything. I can't stand up for justice. I can't do anything like that. I can't be get everything I want to. I'm selfish. I just, you know what, I'm going to do it the best I can. I'm going to do what I basically believe in and pursue that. And like I say, you know, the world awaits us all, right? I mean, there's not much, I have no control over anything except for myself. That's about it. And I'm pretty 50-50 on that. So.
Yeah. Are you a college man?
No.
No?
I'm a high school, barely making it through high school because I was flights of fancy up here and didn't care. And I've taken some classes afterwards, set in on classes through Nick.
Okay.
And because I would like college now if I had the wherewithal, because I'm interested in those. I like learning things. It's fun for me.
You seem quite articulate. It's just.
I don't think I am, so thank you.
No, to me, I've asked you questions, and you've answered them pretty concise, and I like that, that you say what you mean.
You hear that, guys in the band? I'm articulate.
Hear that, Nick?
They could probably tell you a different thing.
You know, what's the scene for you like out in Los Angeles? Wait, let me back up.
Okay.
I want to hear about Europe.
Well, when we did Europe, we went over there this time. We just went to Europe, in case anybody doesn't know. We just
Yeah, that was what,
we
a
just-
couple of months ago?
Yeah, just a couple of months ago.
Couple months ago, that's right.
We were there in June and July, I guess. And we went over there thinking, I literally, everybody knew this, but of course I had to give my little speech beforehand. And I gave my little speech, and this is what I thought would be the truth. I thought we would go over there, and no one would know who we are, really, and no one would know the Rank Outsiders songs.
Mhm.
And we'd have to start from the ground up, and that's what we were doing. And with these records and these shows and traveling, we did Portland and Seattle before that. We did Texas for 6 days before that.
Okay.
And then we went to Europe, and we thought we'll go over there and we'll just start the ball rolling, because no one's going to know who we are. And the only people who might remember me at all would be like Cowgirl, nostalgia, which I am not interested in, no offense to anyone. And I never was either, too, from one year to that. You move forward, you don't look back there.
Right.
It's pointless. So I thought that might be, the only thing we get. Do these old songs that I did 20, which I have no interest in. And I was, basically, we were wrong. We did okay, most of the places. People did know the songs, at least handfuls of people that were showed. They were singing along. People asked for our songs.
Interesting. How did
And
that come about?
they
Were you
just did.
airplay, or would you get international sales, or?
Well, we get we get international sales this small, but we
Wow.
get them.
Uh-huh.
This small though, I might add. And we're at best a cult band at best. That's pushing it even. And it was really great. Most of the shows, only 3 or 4 shows were not really fairly well attended, and people did know, and people were interested, and I was surprised. Because I really did think we just have to go there and plant the flag and start trudging up the hill.
It's not your first time there with the.
No, but it's the third Rank Outsiders thing, but the first one was the Shock Festival one day. That's fantastic place to play. And we played it again this year. And then one time was about 10-day tour Spain, mainly just Spain. And then this time was Italy, France, Germany, Sweden. Did I say Germany?
Mhm. Italy?
Spain.
Okay, Spain.
I said Italy. Anyway, those 5 or 6 or 7 countries. So this one was more widespread, and we did more. And we did 4 or 5 festivals, which was really good.
Wow.
And Shock Festival was great. That was the biggest one we played. They have like 4 stages going, so it's pretty big.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we did okay. We did better than okay. We did great. It was really fun, and
Nice.
hard work. We worked our tails off physically, but it was, I know a lot of bands out there. You know a lot of bands out there, and I know that we're fortunate to play all these places we play. Portland, Seattle, Texas, Europe. We do okay in town. We put out records on labels, small labels. I know that we're fortunate to be able to do all that. But I'll also say, we've earned all that too.
Very true. Very true.
But, I know that we're lucky, because most bands don't get those opportunities, and we do. We make that happen, I think, but again, you have to be fortunate. There's a lot of people out there working hard trying to make something happen. And
Right.
it's great. It's a super life. The people you meet, just like this. This is a real conversation. It's not phony baloney. Whether anybody else thinks it's boring or not, it's not the point.
Right.
It's you and I, we're trying to live opposed to saying nothing,
Just to let everyone know, this is a well-rehearsed conversation we're having. We practiced
Can-
all day yesterday.
Can you tell the way I'm stumbling here and not knowing what to say?
We're reading off a script.
Yeah.
What I want to ask you about what you did in Vegas with the dogs
Oh, yeah.
and Neverland Ranch Davidians.
Well,
Tell me about that.
what happened was, let me get a drink here. It was a heavy medication, is the name of the label. It was a showcase. See, it isn't rehearsed. It is a.
I meant to do that.
Could be more spontaneous than this. It's a label in Poland, run by an expat who lives there, Derek, and on that label are Pat Todd and the Rank Outsiders, The Dogs, the Neverland Ranch Davidians, Tramp for the Lord, those 4 bands.
How did that come? Was that something just happened or did they call you and say, hey, we want these 4 bands? We want you and these 3 other bands?
No, it happened, well, it did happen. I ended up talking to this gentleman, Derek, who's a really good friend of mine now, too, I might add, like really good friend. Like we talk all the time long distance, because you can do that on Facebook Messenger, it's free.
Right.
Nick finally told me that about 6 months ago. I go, you're kidding. So listen to me, you could tell I'm verbal. And so now we're really good friends. And he asked about us doing something, because he's a fan of my music and songs and stuff, and the band now. And in fact, he saw us over in Germany. He came to Berlin to see us.
Okay,
and his
wow.
wife. And then it just kind of went from there, knowing the other bands through me, and that's how he approached everybody, and everybody got on the label. So, and there's more bands. Scott Drake's The Gorilla Teens are going to have a record on there.
Okay, good. Yes, that's right.
I believe that the Streetwalking Cheetahs are going to have something on there.
Okay.
And JJ and the Real Jerks
Mm-hmm.
are going to have, I think they already have a single out on there now, just now. Our brand new single just came out this week. This week.
And you're going to take the same thing you did in Vegas over to Maui's, right?
Yeah, which was us, the Dogs, the Neverland Ranch Davidians, and Tramp for the Lord.
Right.
And that's going to happen. There's going to be another Los Angeles heavy medication showcase on November 19th Saturday, at the Maui Sugar Mill. Yeah.
Right,
They
right.
approached me. They asked me about it. Would you do that here? And I talked to them.
Was that Tim?
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then I talked to Tim on, the way we do.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's got set up through there. So.
Will it be showcased as the what's the name of the record company?
Heavy medication.
Heavy medication. Will it be involved in that?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
why it was. In fact, on the one we did in Las Vegas after the European tour, that was the following week. We went and did Las Vegas with that.
Right.
And Derek and his wife Vanessa, they came there and got married there
Wow.
the day of the show, and then they
Nice.
held their reception there and at a rock and roll show, and Vanessa introduced a man with the old MC5 Kick Out the Jams thing, and it was a great night all the way around, and they wanted to have it here, so we're going to have it here. It's basically that simple.
Love it. Love it. Well, I wish you a lot of luck with that.
Thank you.
I don't even have to wish you anything, because whatever you do, I noticed anything, you're consistent. What I like about the Rank Outsiders is they're consistent. This is our sound. These are our songs. This is what we do. And I notice your audience comes here to hear what you do. And I was really impressed with that.
I will thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you, but I'll push back a one bit. We're consistent because we always lay our ass on the line. We don't just float. We push everything. We're always as intense and give everything we got. We want to do it every time. It isn't
Right.
just that we hit a plane and go. We push it every time.
You do.
To our hilt.
And it
Someone else-
shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. But I mean, I just wanted to say that because we do. You want to be. Oh, I shouldn't say that. We want to be great every night. Whether we are is a whole other story. But that's what we want to do.
Nice. Nice. Anything else you want to add while we wrap it up? Anything you want to tell us personally about the Rank Outsiders, about maybe your song? I actually want to ask about Read 'em and Weep. I love that song.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
What's it about there?
Well, it's And that's where there's Pretty Things in Palookaville,
Yes.
the title came
Mm-hmm.
from. Well, when I was a kid, this is where I got it's like Rank Outside or Underdog. It's a read 'em and weep. But
Yeah,
when we used to play cards when I was a little kid, my parents would and the family would have a like a gin rummy game, you know, where you put in and you put not coins but those plastic things. We'd play cards. I was a little kid, and when my mom would get a whole handful and win, because you know there'd be my grandma and me and my dad and my great grandma and maybe an aunt and maybe my uncle, and we'd all be sitting around a big kitchen table playing this game. It was after usually like a meal for Christmas or Thanksgiving or something. Then they'd put the thing out there that you play on and all that. And my mom, when she would get a handful, put the cards down and beat it, she'd go, read
Read 'em and weep. Nice.
So
Wow.
she always did that for years when I was a little kid. So I guess it just stuck in my mind. And then my job, I'm laid off right now, but my job is driving for a special effects studio. So I drive around all of Los Angeles. And of course, life is on display, you know.
Right.
It just is, whether you want it to be or not. And that's how I am too with songs and stuff. So, you know, you see all the things that happen in the world and are going on around you, and you know, even in the worst place and in the worst situation, there's beauty. There's beauty there, here and there, and heroes and heroines, and so you just kind of see people, and that's why I said there's pretty things at Palookaville. You can see them on the streets, and then just went from there. And the idea of like, I don't believe in platitudes or Hallmark cards, and God bless and thoughts and prayers. And I look at things, but it doesn't have to be. I believe there's beauty even in everyday stuff. And it was kind of about that, the people I saw and things that people had said to me. So I kind of, but yet there's no like answers. And in the end we die. I mean, that's just what we do. So I didn't want it to be like life is beautiful. Because, I mean, it is, but it's just still, it's not all beautiful. There's murder, greed. So I don't know, it just was kind of a little snapshot of the world. Nothing.
It's interesting.
Nothing bigger than that.
Interesting enough, because there's a certain awareness you have. There's a certain awareness, thus, the world is the world. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
You can knock yourself and say, why? If there's a God, if there's not a God, if there's this, if there's that, you can go bananas.
Yeah.
Or, there's a certain amount of acceptance that comes from you that I'm hearing. That, and I love what you just said. Life is on display.
It is.
It is. And, I don't think we really look at that. We're so wrapped up in here. So wrapped up in here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's answers, and there aren't any.
There aren't.
So you live and you die, and that's pretty good. And I'm lucky enough to live in a place where bombs are not dropped on me, and I got lucky. It's pure luck of the draw, and I don't believe there's a giant plan. I think that's crazy. I mean, I think people want to believe in big ideas so that because they don't want, none of us want to, none of us, not me either. Nobody wants to face the impermanence of living, because we're going to die, all of us. But that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. You're born, you're heading that way from the beginning, and I don't know. So I just don't think there's answers, but that's kind of what that song is. It's
nice.
Just kind of a snapshot of the world for, looking at it. And
What you were just saying reminded me of a Rumi saying, death is the wedding with eternity.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I just thought that was like, and what you were just talking about, right now, get it while we can, just say,
Yeah.
you just might as well enjoy it, because double E,
Yeah.
you know, we're here for a short time.
The
And,
Stone song, take your pleasure where you find it.
Right.
You know, like whatever that is to you.
Yeah. Gonna wrap it up now, Pat.
Okay.
It's been really wonderful speaking with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Um,
I appreciate you asking me to do it.
Yeah, Pat Todd. Pat Todd and the Rank Outsiders.
Hello.
Speaking to us for Punk Globe Magazine, a Ginger Coyote publication, and I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
No.
Really, really, I'm going to take a lot of what you said to heart and put it into my file that's under living.
Thank you. I'm glad to do it. I'll shake your hand.
Very good, very good. Hey, you want to belt out a song? Do I put you on the spot or?
Yeah, I guess I could. You want to stop it and we'll edit it in here?
Yeah.
Because it'll take me a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pat Todd, Playing in the Dirt.
Well, you're dead now. Remember seeing you on the main drag. Don't matter how you got there, or when your spirit began to sag. Always lived down to what you thought you had to be. And now that I think about it, you never said more than a few words to me. Say a few words. Never opened up to me like a book, like a heart. What do you believe in? Will you leave a mark? Saw you in that wheelchair that you call a car. It's right where you left it, leaning up against the bar. Just another story. This one's filled with hurt. Ain't much chance of staying clean. Playing in the dirt. Playing in the dirt. I don't know who done what to you, or how you got this way. Can do nothing for you. No clever words to say. But when you said the right words to me, I'd fall every time. All the way to nowhere, and I'd make double time. Just another story. This one's filled with hurt. much chance of staying clean. Playing in the dirt, playing in the dirt.
Pat? That was beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
I love it.
Thank
Is that
you.
a new one?
No, it's an older one.
Okay, I love that. You know, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. This is Gabriel John for Punk Globe Magazine with our guest, Pat Todd. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Good night.